Hello guys and welcome to my channel. Outer space is a vast expanse in which we have so much more to learn, which is why it's difficult to dismiss the possibility of other intelligent life forms that exist. If life can exist and thrive in isolation and under some of the harshest conditions on Earth, it's likely that other interplanetary forms have evolved and adapted to conditions in space as well. Finding on Earth's nearest neighbor in the outer solar system and far beyond seems to suggest the likelihood that other worlds could harbor species ranging from bacteria to technological beings. Perhaps new results in the following year will finally disclose who else is out there. We can mention the signs that exist in this video. Before we continue, kindly hit the notification button to be notified when I next post new videos. So without further ado, let's dive in. Number 10. The mysterious radiation-proof species of microbe. Russian astrobiologists reported in 2002 that the resilient Deinococcus radiogram evolved on Mars. The bacteria can withstand thousands of times the amount of radiation that would kill a human. The Russians zapped a population of bacteria with enough radiation to kill 99.9% of them, then let the survivors repopulate before repeating the cycle. It took 50 times the original dose of radiation after 44 rounds. They projected that thousands of these cycles would be required to make the common bacteria E.COLI as hardy as Deinococcus. On Earth, each dosage of radiation takes between 1 million and 100 million years to encounter. They say that there just hasn't been enough time in life's 3.8 billion year history on Earth for such resistance to arise. In contrast, the surface of Mars, which is unprotected by a deep atmosphere, is hit with so much radiation that the bugs may acquire the same amount in a matter of hundreds of thousands of years. According to the researchers, Deinococcus ancestors were thrown off Mars by an asteroid and landed on Earth as meteorites. Others, however, are skeptical. Number 9. Fossils are discovered in meteorite from Antarctica. In 1996, NASA scientists made a contentious announcement claiming that they had discovered what seems to be fossilized bacteria in a potato-shaped piece of Martian rock. The meteorite was most likely blasted from the surface of Mars in a collision and traveled the solar system for 15 million years until crashing in Antarctica in 1984. A careful examination indicated that the rock contained organic molecules as well as a microscopic speck of the mineral magnetite, which is occasionally found on the Earth bacteria. NASA researchers claim to have discovered nanobacteria under the electron microscope. However, most of the evidence has now been called into question. Other specialists have claimed that the magnetite particles were not so comparable to those found in bacteria. After all, the organic compounds were sourced from Earth. A 2003 study also demonstrated how to generate crystals that mimic nanobacteria in a laboratory by chemical processes. Number 8. The red tinge of Jupiter's moon, Europa. NASA researchers speculated in 2001 that alien bacteria could be responsible for Europa's red hue. Although the surface is largely ice, statistics show that it unusually reflects the infrared light. That means that something, possibly magnesium salts, is holding it together. However, no one has been able to devise the optimal combination of molecules to make sense of the data. Surprisingly, the infrared spectra of some earthly bacteria, those that flourish in harsh environments, match the data at least as well as magnesium salts. Furthermore, some are red and brown, which may explain the moon's ruddy complexion. Though bacteria may struggle to survive and thrive in Europa's thin atmosphere and minus 170 degrees Celsius surface temperature, they may be able to survive in a warmer liquid interior. Geological activity may spew them out regularly, causing them to flash freeze on the surface. Number 7. Chemical signatures indicative of life. NASA's Viking landers performed tests on Martian soil samples that suggested chemical signs of life. In one experiment, radioactive carbon-labeled nutrients are blended into the soil and then evaluated for the formation of radioactive methane gas. The test resulted in a favorable outcome. The presence of radioactive methane in the soil meant that something in the soil was metabolizing nutrients and creating radioactive gas. However, because of additional experiments on board, it found no evidence of life. NASA judged the discovery to be a false positive. Despite this, one of the initial scientists and others who have since reanalyzed the data remain certain of the discovery. They claim that the other board tests were ill-equipped to look for organic compounds, which are a vital sign of life. Number 6. Chemical hints of life are found in old data from Venus probes. According to the University of Texas, astrobiologists, life in Venus cloud may be the best method to explain several strange anomalies in the composition of its atmosphere. They combed through data from NASA's Pioneer and Magellan space probe, as well as Russia's 1970s Venera Venus-lander missions. Carbon monoxide should be produced in large quantities by solar radiation and lighting on Venus, but it is scarce as if somebody was removing it. Sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide are also present. These rapidly react with one another and are rarely seen coexisting, unless some process is consistently churning them out. The presence of carbonyl sulfide is the most puzzling. This is only created on Earth by microorganisms or catalysts, not by any other known inorganic method. The researchers propose that bacteria dwell in a Venusian atmosphere as a solution to the conundrum. The blazing hot, acidic surface of Venus may be inhospitable to life, but conditions 50 kilometers up in the atmosphere are more friendly and moist, with a temperature of 70 degrees Celsius and pressure comparable to Earth. Number 5. Methane in the Martian atmosphere hints at microbial metabolism. 3 groups independently discovered methane in the atmosphere in 2004 using Earth-based telescopes and the European Space Agency's Mars Express orbiting space probe. Bacteria and other forms of life produce nearly all of the methane in our atmosphere. Methane also may be produced by volcanism, the thawing of frozen subterranean deposits, or comet impacts. The source, however, must be recent, as the gas is quickly consumed on Mars or escapes into space. An ESA scientist controversially declared in January 2005 that he had also discovered evidence of formaldehyde, which is formed by the oxidation of methane. If this is proven, it will bolster the case for bacteria, and it would take 2.5 million tons of methane per year to produce the amount of formaldehyde predicted to exist. There are 2 methods for confirming the presence of the gas, but scientists will need to do additional research on Mars. Number 4. The unexplained extraterrestrial WOW signal. In August 1977, a radio telescope at Ohio State University recorded an unexpected pulse of radiation from someplace around the constellation Sagittarius. The 37-second signal was so impressive that the astronomer watching the data wrote "wow" on the telescope's printout. The signal was within the radio frequency spectrum, where transmissions are internationally prohibited on Earth. Furthermore, natural sources of radiation from space typically cover a broader frequency range. Given that the nearest star is in that direction and is 220 million light-years away, it would have been the cause of a tremendous astronomical event, or by intelligent aliens with a very strong transmitter. The signal is still inexplicable. Number 3. Sulfur traces on Jupiter's moon, Europa, may be the waste products of underground bacterial colonies. Italian scientists proposed in 2003 that sulfur residues on Europa could represent evidence of alien life. The compounds were discovered by the Galileo space probe, along with evidence of a volcanically heated ocean beneath the moon's frozen crust. The sulfur fingerprints resemble the waste products of microorganisms that become trapped in the surface ice of lakes in Antarctica on Earth. The bacteria survive in the ocean below, and similar germs may also thrive beneath Europa's surface. According to the researchers, other specialists dismissed the theory, claiming that the sulfur came from neighboring moons where it is abundant. Number 2. Calculations that suggest our galaxy contains hundreds of thousands of life-bearing planets. Frank Drake, a radio astronomer from the United States, established an equation in 1961 to help estimate the number of planets in the galaxy that are home to intelligent life and capable of communicating with us. The Drake equation multiplies 7 parameters, including the rate at which stars like our Sun create the fraction of Earth-like planets and the fraction of those on which life arises. Many of these figures are debatable, although Drake himself believes that the total number of communicating civilizations in the galaxy will be around 10,000. A more thorough estimate of the number of life-bearing planets in the galaxy based on the new data and ideas came up with the figure in the hundreds of thousands in 2001. For the first time, the researchers calculated the number of planets that could exist in the habitable zone, orbiting stars where water is liquid and photosynthesis is viable. According to the findings, an inhabited Earth-like planet could only be a few hundred light-years distant. Number 1. A mysterious radio signal is received by the SETI project on alien contact. In February 2003, astronomers working on the SETI project utilized a huge telescope in Puerto Rico to re-examine 200 regions of the sky that had previously returned strange radio signals. Except for one that had become stronger, all of these indications had vanished. A signal largely regarded as the finest possibility yet for alien contact originated between the constellations Pisces and Aries, where no apparent stars on the planets can be found. Surprisingly, the signal is at a frequency where hydrogen, the most prevalent element, absorbs and emits energy. According to some astronomers, this is a fairly likely frequency at which aliens seeking to be discovered might transmit. However, there's a good likelihood that the signal is the result of previously unseen natural phenomena. For example, in 1967, an inexplicable pulsed radio signal that was considered to be artificial turned out to be the first ever sighting of a pulsar. Despite this, one of the initial scientists and others who have since reanalyzed the data remain confident in the discovery. They claim that the other board tests were ill-equipped to look for organic compounds, which are a vital sign of life. So there you have it, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any amazing content from us. We'd really appreciate it. Until next time.